A very good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us at ABP Ananda Presents Languages Week, powered by Colors Marathi. Languages Week is a series of discussion through which we want to capture the wonder of India's language media. It will also touch upon the diversity of India's consumer markets. To begin with, I would like to thank our sponsors, presenting partner ABP Ananda, powered by partner Colors Marathi. Now, introducing you to the moderator of the session, Mr. Anirban Roy Chaudhary, Associate Editor at AFAX. Once again, thank you everyone for joining. Before we start, can we please have the AV?
A pandemic couldn't stop us from bringing you the news. A lockdown couldn't contain us from bringing you the updates. Nature's fury couldn't stop us from bringing you the actual picture of severity and sufferings. The gloom around couldn't hold us up when it comes to bringing you how the human race is fighting back. We are the ones to initiate that learning doesn't come to a standstill. No wonder we have emerged as the #1 channel, not just in our category, but across all the genres. ABP Ananda, the #1 channel that stays ahead and keeps you ahead.
Thank you. Over to you, Anirban.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Abhinav. Today we are here to discuss the promise of voice. Now we all remember that call that Sundar Pichai had made at one of the fancy Google events, and he had asked an assistant to actually book an appointment for him, and also to book a table at a restaurant. And from there, the discussion of voice really picked up. But today it is almost in all of our doorsteps. I mean, we interact with the remote, we interact with OTT platforms, and we are interacting with all sorts of washing machines and smart bulbs. And there's voice playing a big role in it. Today with me, I have Rajnil Kumar from ZEE5, Shams, and Anurag from Tara Sky. But I'd like to start with Shams. How do you see voice when you interact with your clients, as well as when you see it as a technology and you interact with your clients? Where do you see voice plays today? Why don't you start? Why don't you just raise the curtain and say, explain where voice stands today?
Thanks, Anirban. Thanks, ALCFQs for holding this, and especially the combination of voice and vernacular or languages is going to be a big thing, especially in a country like India. So it's inevitable. I think this is the voice wave, as I call it. Just to give you an example, what I call my son, who's now 6-year-old, is now a voice generation. Even though he's got his laptops, he's got his tablets and phones that he uses. He uses a lot of Alexa, he uses a lot of Google Home devices, which I think 6 years back, the kids who were 6-year-old were still mobile phone users. Now it's going to be the voice generation, as I call it. These kids are now will be so used to just pretty much speaking to this device, whether it's a handheld device, whether it's a phone, or whether it's an Alexa, that phones are going to lose their, let's say, their charm that they had over the last 10 years that the mobile phones have really boomed up. So I think voice is going to be extremely important in the context of India, especially. 1.3 billion people. English, first of all, is a challenge. Beyond 500 million, we don't have English literacy. Languages is a big thing as we go into smaller and smaller towns and cities. And then, of course, the challenge of literacy that comes when you're speaking about what the written word or what you can understand. So voice plays a very important role because it breaks all those barriers. And right now, of course, you have a voice in Hindi and Indian. It's still not got into all the languages that is there, but I think give another year and a half to 2 years, major languages will be there on all the major platforms will be available. And that would really unlock the potential of 1.3 billion Indians. And I think that's where voice is really going. And languages is going to play a major role in voice as we go into the future. And I'm not just saying this because we are on this platform. I've said this again and again throughout the last few years. So the time for clients especially is to start building for voice. It's going to be about a year and a half down the line where voice is really going to boom. It's like what we had to say that, okay, if social media is coming, social media has come, and now it's pretty much all encompassing. The mobile phone revolution has come and it's all encompassing. The same way voice is, we are at the threshold, and given another 2 years, that's where we are. So it's about building for voice. It's making sure that you're ready for the voice revolution. You're creating assets which are ready for voice, what the solution is going to be. And then the next 2 years is going to belong to that. So that's really a very brief nutshell of what I believe the voice is going to be like.
Great. I'll come back to you. I'll come back to more specific questions. But now, since you said it's going to be the generation of voice, Rajneel, you have to build for it. You have to build to embrace this generation. And I'll give you an example. I was navigating on ZEE5 just to prepare for this session. And you have a Bengali show called Kali, and there is Dadagiri. And I tried all different way while voice searching. If it gets me wrong, but with all honesty, 8 out of 10 times it did play Dadagiri and Kali whenever I asked it to. So how much are you building? How much are you building for voice? How much are you, investing on? How much? But when I say investing, I mean how much time are you investing? Energy you are investing for me to access your platform and search and navigate it through voice seamlessly.
Sure, Anil, but first of all, both of them are fantastic shows, so please do watch them. You'll thoroughly enjoy them. Shams was speaking about building for voice, and I couldn't resonate more because a lot of us have been around from the first time the first Alexa device came out, and we were wondering what this will do and what will happen with it, and is it too early, who will adopt it? And one of the hypotheses at that point was that two age segments will adopt this the first. That would be the young and the old. The people in between, people like us who have got used to, doing everything by visual search or by typing, etc., would possibly continue before we start adopting it. But the other two would definitely come on to that. If you see the number of apps which are now available in voice, and I'll speak first about outside of ZEE5 and then I can speak about ZEE5. The number of apps which are there on voice devices now are very clearly targeted at two types of consumers. First are the young, who are looking for stories, nursery rhymes, music, all of those types, and the slightly more mature audiences who are looking for news and looking for news across various segments to be coming on voice. So you really see that while there are many types of apps, these two have been doing quite well. Coming to ZEE5, we launched today also ZEE5 is the largest supporter of languages as a platform on OTT. We support over 17 languages globally. So what this means is that while everybody had an English interaction of to read or to do anything on the platform, we launched with about 13 Indian and 4 international, and that continuously keeps expanding. Similarly, we launched with voice search, and voice search has been an integral part of us trying to get it right. We work very closely with all the ecosystems partners to make sure that we do it. Where we see the voice playing a role is that as the devices increase in both places, on the high end, where now you have television devices on which people have started to consume content, but discovery is still a challenge, and people would really like to use voice to search, which is exactly what probably you did. It is very important to get that right, and we have spent a lot of energy and time in getting that. And on the other side, when you look at KaiOS, which is at over 100 million number of people who are there, it again is addressing a different market on a device on which otherwise to type and find things is very tough. So it has been important to build it out for the last couple of years in voice. And I think it will be one of the strategic pillars on which any service which is being built will have to make sure that just like they get the UI right, the UX right, the personalization right, they will have to get the voice right to be able to create a complete comprehensive product for the users.
Okay, I'll come back to you because I already see a few questions coming in, and to all our viewers and attendees, please send in your questions. We'll try and address them. Voice, we always thought that it's going to be Google Home, Cortana, or Alexa, but somehow it has crossed that line, and it's actually, I see car MG Hector in all its advertisements, it had voice as a big part. Anurag comes from Tata Sky, and recently you launched a box called Tata Sky Binge Plus, and you have voice as a big part of it. Tell me, how do you see voice when I'm talking Tata Sky, I'm just not talking about all that ZEE5 has. You probably have all that Z has and Star has and all other OTT platforms have. So you have more content and you have more margin of error than. So how do you see voice?
No, I think as absolutely rightly been pointed out both Shams and Rajni, I think voice is actually an integral part of our technology roadmap, across many products, not just the Binge Plus box. And if I were to just draw back to a couple of the points which have already been made by both Shams and Rajni, and since you talked about Sundar Pichai's kind of speech in the beginning, I think the Google guys have taught the world that if you look at internet penetration in India, actually the future evolution actually is going to be founded really on 3 V's. The first being video, the second being voice, and the third being vernacular. So clearly, and video, I think we're seeing the boom in video consumption on so we've seen that with the data revolution, which is actually already upon us, and I think we'll increasingly see voice searches driving internet adoption in the local language, and hence I think all the work which all the platforms are doing in actually getting Indian languages on board, I think has been talked about, will actually accelerate that process. So that's the kind of landscape we are in. But it's also, I think, as Rajni was pointing out, that whenever we have sort of taken a product like you talked about the Tata Sky Binge Plus, which is basically for those who don't know, it's because it's a relatively new product. It's actually a smart set-top box which basically allows you to watch TV channels and all the OTT apps. And of course, ZEE5 is a very valuable partner in that. Of course, the Zee network is a very valuable partner in that ecosystem. That when we took that product, for instance, to customers, for during focus groups, for instance, a lot of them actually said, "Oh, great! This has got a voice assistant or a voice command," and people are using words like voice command now, and that's the lingo which is developing. And they say the first thing people say, "Okay, my mother will now find it very easy to search for content." That's literally what comes out. So it's almost like someone who's uninitiated, who's not digitally savvy, will actually find it very, very relevant. I think that's what people talk about. So clearly, I think that talks to the whole Google point, which is that the new adopters of digital will find it very valuable. And then of course there's the top end aspect, which is the people like the 6-year-old son of Shams, as he was talking to, and I'm talking to my own boys as well. One being 11 and one being 6 actually, and they talk to Google Home all the time and ask all questions every day. So this generation, which is digitally native or let's say digitally savvy, who has a smart speaker, is using voice for navigation, connected cars, etc., or other connected devices such as smart TV, a Tata Sky Binge Plus box, etc. And this is the other generation which will start to adopt voice. So actually, that's something which you're seeing at the bottom end and the top end, literally. And I think for the large mass of people in between who are already, using text for search, etc., the adoption will keep increasing as the number of use cases increases, and all the apps make it more and more relevant. So the work with ZEE5 are doing, and the work with Swiggy does, or the work with Tata Sky does, I think all of it will actually play a role in actually creating an ecosystem where it will become bigger and bigger. And specifically on Binge Plus, it's a relatively new product, but we've actually seen that everyone is right now experimenting with a voice in terms of searching. I must say that it is an evolution. It is an evolution both in terms of consumer habit and also in terms of technology. And today also, I think if you do searches of content or anything, as you yourself said, 8 out of 10, you're probably hitting the right content. Yeah. Imagine a situation where we're on Tata Sky Binge, where we've got content from more than one OTT app and more than one channel, pretty much, then you're actually searching across this entire ecosystem. Then it even gets harder. And there what we see is that, yes, you do land, for instance, today with today's technology on the right channel, the right app, you might not necessarily jump straight into the content. And that's something which will keep evolving as we go along. But I think it's an evolution. Language is an evolution, technology is an evolution. And you're getting 8 out of 10 right today. I think hopefully we'll start to get 10 out of 10 right, and not just in English, but also in other languages.
Right. Staying with you, I mean, when you are actually thinking about a marketing campaign for a product like Tata Sky, once it was always about the recharge. I mean, I still remember you have Chota Recharge and Daily Dillagi and all those campaigns. Yeah. Now, voice is becoming a big part of that campaign. So, is it that you can't actually have a campaign without talking about voice in today's days? And if so, why is it?
Yeah, no, I think it depends on it depends on the product. Like today, for instance, again talking about the Tata Sky Binge Plus box, since you talked about it, and we of course Z5 is there. Actually, we have an ad running right now where we try to make it a bit funny where there is a bunch of ghosts in a house who are literally fighting over the remote using their voice, and one says I want to watch Z5, and the other says I want to watch ZTV, and the human in the house comes and decides, okay, he'll go for ZTV this time, next time he'll watch maybe Z5 or whatever. So actually in that particular case voice is actually a very integral part of the product. We also have a Tata Sky mobile app, for instance, where again you can do voice search within the app of content. So it makes it relevant. But let's say on our regular linear boxes, that is not an option today. So it will be a function of the product, which is there. But connected devices increasingly, we will start to see more of voice playing more of a role.
Okay, that's great. Shams, coming to you, Yashank Wahi has a question for you. But before I go to his question, I have a question for you too. So when you are talking about voice, have you already segmented the possible target group? Who do you think are using voice as a technology to search their product or to get various things done? Who, according to you, use this technology?
So there are about, so when we talk about voice is, we predominantly are talking about assistant-backed voice.
Correct.
We're talking about anywhere where there is a artificial intelligence or there is machine learning behind the voice.
Yeah.
Let me take a small step back and understand the entire WhatsApp ecosystem. If you look at most of the people that are interacting on WhatsApp are also using their voice. And a lot of people are not typing, they're using voice. So I'm saying that that entire shift is going to happen very quickly on people who, say, for example, are using WhatsApp for voice. I mean, recording their voice, not speaking, but actually using their voice. That shift will happen very quickly on voice. Now, who is using it right now? As I think Rajni already said, it's about, it's about stories for my kid. How can I keep him busy when my wife and me are having a chat, or I'm cooking food and I want to know what are the latest recipes that are there. It's really need-based. I think there is a whole gamut of people who are using it. I would rather say that the genres that are being used right now, rather than the kind of people, the genres that are being used outside the regular, which you see navigation and weather, which are the highest. Beyond that you see, that's basically on content which is related to audio, where you want to listen to various audio content, podcasts that you want to interact with, you want to consume. Right now, I think the consumption is more voice in and audio out. That's the kind of consumption that is there. But what's going to happen in the future is that your devices are going to be connected. So your input is going to be voice in and maybe a video out, like it's on the Z5 platform. It could be voice in or put something into my cart, which could be commerce led, for example. So right now, I think the consumption is predominantly consuming video or audio content. It's restricted to that and navigation. But as we go into the future with more and more connected devices, that's going to change. And the second thing is that India is very peculiar. That voice is still, the mobile phone is still used as a device for voice. Outside, it's not as much. You have these connected devices which are used more. So the Alexa and the Google Homes of the world. In India, people will still end up using a voice. So when you have, the future is really a 1,500 rupee phone, which you will not type in, but you'll speak into. And that's it. Everything will decide on the cloud. So when a Jio comes up with the next phone, it will be completely voice enabled, where anything and everything that you want when you want to order from the nearest Jio store, the nearest Jio Mart, you'll be able to order from there. So that's really I think the ecosystem that is there. More than users, of course, there are a whole bunch of users, but I think it's more the type of usage and what is the kind of content that we consume.
Okay, now coming to Yashank's question for you, he says there are more apps and devices which are coming up with regional languages and national languages. So we can say these are coming up technologies, but his basic question is, will advertisers now shift focus towards Alexa and Google Home sort of devices? How far do you think are we from that? And to add a point of mine into that question, do you think it's ready? Do you think the technology, or we are still there for you to go to a big advertiser and say that, hey, let's do something on Alexa or Google Home to experiment
There
in
is,
India?
we are ready for this platform. The only thing is that advertising as such needs to completely change. I think Rajnil was talking about the entire experience. So when you're talking about user experience on visual platform, and you're talking about the UI UX on the visual platform, you're talking about searches on the visual platform, that's going to completely change when voice comes in. So for example, when you're doing a Google search, you've got about 7 or 8 paid listings that come up, for your ads that are there when you're searching for Google. In voice, there's only going to be one answer. So the reply is going to be that I want to search for the nearest restaurant. It'll give me these bunch of restaurants with the first or second who's be sponsored. So those things are happening. So I think location based will be the first guys who will jump onto voice. That will be there. I think that is where it also, it's a very seamless fit, because if I am at a particular location and hence I want to understand what are the nearest coffee shops or what are the nearest things that are there that I'm going to talk to. So that's something that is going to be quickly coming on board. The next set is going to be, how do I integrate into voice content? So it's not just about advertising, because the number of, let's say, advertising options will be limited, because suddenly now you will not have so many. Google will not come back with, when you search on Google Home, it's not going to give you 10 ads and then you give you a voice answer. It'll be only 1 or 2 ads, and that ad could be in the form of a video, because it depends on what the output is. So the entire experience has to change. So you as an advertiser, yes, we are developing for that. Right now, from an advertising and let's say from a business perspective, it's to take advantage of and to create the assets. Just like you have an app, you will create a voice asset that is there. And then you will create relevance. So for example, if there is an example of a toothpaste manufacturer in the US that came up with voice, it's a very, I think it was, I'm forgetting who it was, but they came out with a 2-minute content pieces for kids to consume when they're brushing. So there was a relevance of saying that, okay, Alexa, please play a 2-minute content, and the idea is to make sure that the kid brushes for those 2 minutes, and then your pieces of content are coming out. So I think it's more important how. So that's where I think the whole idea of advertising will blend into content based advertising, and not just pure play advertising as we see. So I think that's the shift, and that's what we're trying to work with our clients as to how are we making their advertising more relevant to the content that's being consumed, and not necessarily like an audio where it's a pre-roll or a mid-roll or a post-roll that is there.
Okay, that's great. Rajnil, when you are talking about voice, is it just a tool for you to make the user experience better, or you are also considering it at some point in time will become a source of revenue for you? How are you looking at it?
A couple of things, but give me half a second. My dog is suddenly got very anxious.
Sure. So I'll go back to Rajnil, but before that, Anurag, there is a few questions that we have, and it talks about safety. So somebody asked, am I paranoid, or is it right to worry about things like, is my device listening to me all the time? So if Rajnil is back, I'll come back to that question, because it's not only to you. I think I'll ask all 3 of you this same thing. Rajnil, can we?
Yeah. This is a very interesting theme, and I wanted to speak about it also. First is, the search and finding content and playing content, I think, has become hygiene. And there is a time it will take to get all the regional languages right. It was easy to get Italian, German, French, Spanish, everything right, because the amount of written text available is simply a lot to be able to. Unfortunately, the problem for machines to learn Indian languages is that we have textbooks. And when they start learning from textbooks and trying to understand that as language, it becomes tough, because then they start speaking even in Hindi that normally we don't speak. And the whole fun of conversations and voice with a machine is that it becomes conversational with you. So that's become hygiene, and it will keep improving. I think for me personally, the way I see it, there are 2 or 3 areas, one of concern and the other areas of great interest, and which we will see some evolution on. First is customer care and service. Today, we move from people wanting to call you and talking to you into having help centers on the desktops and mobile and on the television. We then went one step forward and say, okay, let's do a chatbot, and the chatbot can learn and then answer, and the customers can solve all the more problems themselves rather than come to us. I'm looking forward to something happening in the voice space, which really takes it forward. When somebody's subscription is not reflecting, and the user is a user who's been using voice to search, etc., the user actually can go call up number, have a voice conversation with the machine, and be able to solve that problem. So that for me is a very interesting use case. The second use case is payments. Even banking apps now use facial recognition for at least letting you in. Transactions still need a two-factor authentication in India. But what if we are, when will we be ready to get voice as a payment mechanism? And what are the barriers for getting that done? So these two areas are kind of interesting for me to look at and try to wonder what will happen over the next 2 years.
Okay, but there is this additional question that comes to you, like whenever we talk about the promise, we can't talk about the risk that is associated with it. And somebody asked this question: is it fair to be paranoid about worrying if ZEE5 or Tata Sky Binge Plus is listening to them all the time? And if they are listening, where is this audio being stored? Is it stored in ZEE5 or is it going somewhere outside? So why don't you take it first and then I'll go to Anurag.
So I'll speak from ZEE5's perspective. The voice search is only activated once somebody physically goes and activates it. So we are not a platform where you can say, hey ZEE5, and then hey ZEE5 comes on and starts to solve the problem. So that's not there. That only the platform owners like Google or Alexa do it, because they then manage the entire privacy concerns, etc. So yes, for application like ZEE5, whether on the mobile or on the connected devices, it has to be actually invoked either by pressing a button on the application or by the remote physically before the search comes on.
Okay, Anurag?
Yeah, actually, likewise, exactly the same thing. So, for instance, in the Tata Sky Binge Plus remote, we have the Google Voice Assistant button, which is embedded in. And you have to press it. There's a little mic there, which kind of lights up, so you're speaking to it. And actually, therefore, and because it sits on the Android TV platform, that particular box, we do use the the Google ecosystem to actually throw the search results. So it's exactly the same thing. We are not storing anything of any customer. Absolutely no privacy concerns. It's very different. I'm saying there are some apps we know who, for instance, they take permissions and they hear the data, which is kind of in the ambient environment. There are apps like that which exist today, but a voice search in this case is nothing of that nature. It's simply helping you to deliver a result.
Okay, Shams, is it going to be a safe environment? Because we keep discussing this whenever we talk about advertising in new platforms. I mean, TikTok, for example, it was good for advertisers, they were happy. But again, that safety measure kept coming into discussion. Yeah. So when you look at voice, what is it? It's going to be a brand safe environment, or do you think it will take some time
brand safe? So I'll just segregate the two. This question is not about brand safe. It's about data privacy. And the privacy in your privacy. So I'm just kind of segregating that, because brand safety can still be questioned. It's based on the content and how good or bad that content is. So that's more in the environment that you're going to. This is more comes into the privacy where someone's listening to what your personal chats are, and then automatically getting into it. Now that's an age-old question. Whether you talk about voice, whether you talk about WhatsApp reading my messages, whether you talk about Google reading my mails, whether you talk about Facebook reading whatever that they have, there's always a give and take. Honestly, I will talk about it. Number one. Number two, like GDPR, there has to be, which does not currently cover voice. There will be norms which will come in the future which will cover voice. And right now, the voice ecosystem is still in its nascent phase. Once it really becomes mainstream, then I think it's going to be very important for those laws to start covering that. Right now, I don't think the laws are really getting and covering all of those things. So I think it will evolve. Yes, the concerns are justified. I wouldn't say the concerns are not justified. And as an industry, we're always looking how to protect the consumers as well as protect the clients. And our job as a custodian is to make sure that both the stakeholders we're speaking to and making sure that this doesn't happen. I think the governments across the world will make sure that keeping everything in consideration, this does not happen. But the lines are blurred. That's all I can say, because the lines are blurred on every platform. I don't think there's any platform that exists where the lines are not blurred.
That's great. There's another question which I would like you, all three of you, to quickly shed some light on. I mean, it asks, starting with you, Shyam, apart from the languages and the dialects, yes, there are many languages and dialects in India. Apart keeping that aside, do you think the Indian voice behavior will reflect what in the West, given India is primarily a very noisy environment, and so will the voice search stay restricted to or stay confined to the proximity of your home?
No, the only difference is that we are going to be a mobile first in terms of voice as well. I think that's where our difference will be. That we're still consuming OTT platforms. We're still consuming everything on phones first, and then we're consuming it everywhere. It's just that you will be using voice much more to search. The technology will improve. Yes, language and NLP is still reaching a limit, and they have not gone into a lot of languages. But I don't think we are not going to be like the West. So let me be very clear. It's not going to be like the West. We are our own country. We are our own differences. We need to take what's happening in the world and adapt it to the Indian context. Yes, we are noisy, but then a lot of other places in the world are. So technology needs to solve for that as we go for it, rather than us saying that it's going to be not working for us. And the technology solve will be there. So I don't think that will be a
Okay. Okay, Anurag, so far with whatever interactions you had or whatever you have analyzed from your Binge Plus, is it just a metro behavior, or do you see people interacting elsewhere too? And then I'll come to Rajni.
Yeah, no, I think I would probably not reach a conclusion on Binge Plus yet, because it's a relatively new product. We've been marketing it actively for only about 3 months, so very early to give a commitment on, it's only coming from here or there. I think, but what we've seen is that I think people are experimenting with voice on that box from everywhere. Yeah. And by the way, that box is not just selling in metros, it's actually going beyond metros. Anyone who has basically a home internet connection, is eligible to do that. So we don't see it going in rural, because the chance of getting a home internet connection there is going to be difficult, but anywhere else, including in smaller towns, mini metros, below 5 lakh towns, we're seeing the box go, and people are experimenting with voice everywhere. So I think it's going to evolve, is my guess, and only then we'll conclude. I was telling you that we also have the Tata Sky mobile app.
Yeah.
You can watch live TV and you can manage your account, etc.
Yeah.
And there also within the app we see increasing voice searches for content, which is kind of enabled there. So yeah, it's kind of growing everywhere, and but I think it's hard to it's evolving so fast that we will keep seeing trends or let's say conclusions change every year.
Okay, that's great. Rajni, there's a specific question for you, and the attendee who has not mentioned his or her name is asking you, what is the ratio of text search to voice search on ZEE5, and where do you expect it to be in 12 months from now?
I think the best barometer is the Google state of search report that they bring out, where almost 50% of all searches are happening in voice. For us, it is similar at this point of time. Voice, I think, is and what we must not forget is that we are in a very, very early stage. And this question about who will use it, what will happen, is like saying when the mobile smartphone comes, who will use a smartphone? And there is no really a metro town versus a small town debate. It's democracy. Everybody can use it. Somebody's kid consuming a content in Bombay would want to, be using it. So I think as a platform, when we look at it, we think that, hey, this is what the users want. Let's build for all use cases that users would require voice for. And then let's do that a really good job of it. And it will take time to show which is over-indexed. But when you build out on new technologies, you don't really build out only for one segment. You create a democratic technology which everybody can adopt.
Okay, that's great. Another question which is very interesting, and I also have the same question. What are the big factors that inhibit middle-aged consumers from using voice? And to add to my question to it, what are the factors that would get middle-aged consumers to actually use voice? So if all three of you could quickly address it.
Maybe I'm unmute, I'll start with it. I think it's always the same thing. Show me the benefit. What will I gain? Will it be easier? Will it be faster? Will it be more accurate? and different types of products could have different types of use cases for this, right? Ordering a cab versus ordering food versus, your AR technologies are used now to try glasses at home. So there are use cases for each product, which will have to be adopted to say, really, how do I use it to build that one unique feature the users can use voice for?
Okay, Shams?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that you needed a Uber to come and take GPS and really create something about it. So GPS existed for a while before Uber really came in and created the taxi service on top of that. And then there was an entire revolution that happened because of that. So the same thing is gonna happen without because the voice is that, and for those people, whether you call it middle age, whether you call it people like us. It's something which is going to happen only because of how the ease of use, and I think use cases on who's going to build for that, which is going to completely change the way I interact. It's going to happen. People are going to completely change the way we interact with each other and our surroundings. It's going to happen. It's happening with all of us. Connected homes is going to be a way of the future very, very soon in the next couple of years. And it's really and 5G coming in, it's only going to accelerate things as we go ahead. So I think it's about the Ubers of the world and the Swiggies of the world. What are the newer technologies and the platform players which are going to come and really revolutionize this? Where that giant blip will happen, that jump will happen. Right now the adoption will happen at a steady pace. That blip will happen is when those kind of apps, those kind of platforms will start coming in.
Okay, Anurag, your response to it. What will get middle-aged people to use more? Maybe from Tata Sky landscape, when you see it, you have more middle-aged users than the new age technologies. So how do you see it?
Yeah, no, I think I would just build on to what has already been said, and I think one of the important thing to think about here is the consumer aspect, the people in question. And I think it's quite fundamental to changing habits, actually. Some people who are already, let's say, using digital, using search, what is going to make their behavior change? And I think the more rewards they see coming from different, let's say, apps in the ecosystem in terms of what voice search can do, will lead them to start to change their behavior and everything else they do as well, where earlier they were not using voice. So today, for instance, the middle-aged consumers are already using text searches, for instance, on their mobile phones or the laptops. But the rest of the ecosystem starts to change around them, and they start getting used to the idea of voice. Maybe it's a smart speaker in the house, it's hailing a taxi, it's a search for content. That is going to change behavior even on regular searches. And that's going to be, one critical, thing which needs to happen. I think it needs to cross a certain, I would say, critical mass, and then you will see a certain acceleration even with this set of people. So I think those who are kind of born in the voice generation, the younger people, or those who are kind of digitally absolutely at leading edge, they're probably already onto voice. And those who are coming completely new, they're probably entering because of voice. So I think for them, that's going to be habit already. So I think we're going to see all these three streams come together, and it's going to just accelerate. But yes, I think what people like us do, in terms of how we bring voice into our products will actually, and of course the rest of the universe, our ecosystem will really accelerate, because it's going to be a combination of habit change driven by push and environmental factors.
Okay, that's great. We are at the last phase of our discussion, but two more questions. Firstly, what do you think today is the biggest challenge? If I start with you, Anurag, in terms of content discovery, when we are talking, if we talk about voice, what do you think is the biggest challenge today?
I think it's really about ensuring that we consistently deliver good results to the customer. I think you talked about the 8x10 kind of example there. And that's, when you're searching within one app. And I talked about the complexity on Tata Sky Bench Plus. When you're searching, between 10 apps and 500 channels, it becomes even more complex. So how do we consistently deliver the right results across more languages, built for different accents, built for different kind of syntaxes, etc. I think all those things, is really where, we need to do a lot more work, I would say. So I think it's already very good, but a lot more, can be done. I think that will be
That's
quite
great.
fundamental.
That's great. Shams, there's a question, I think it relates to what you had earlier said. The person is asking, with more people using Amazon Fire Stick and DTH boxes, which are voice enabled, do you think the ratio actually will change from what it is in terms of using it on mobile phone versus using it on smart devices?
No. Simply because the number of smartphones versus the number of devices in India is, you see, for majority of Indians, the smartphone is the only source of any kind of connectivity that is there. They don't have two television, they don't have smart TV at home. I mean, we are talking about a very small percent of the population, or 1.3 billion, which have got devices like Fire Stick and all. So while the number is decent, I mean, you're talking about smartphone penetration of 500, 600 million versus maybe a Fire Stick would be in a couple of million. So there's a huge gap that is there. So I don't feel that, and I keep on repeating that it's going to be our industry and voice is going to be predominantly mobile phone driven in India. Where the searches will be more on mobile phones for voice as well. For the Fire Stick to catch up or any of these things to catch up is going to take a long time, because you need to then change the social economic class of India and need people to spend much more. So I don't think that's going to happen that quickly. Predominantly voices, I mean, the consumption is still going to be on a mobile first. I mean, that's very clear.
Okay. There is a question for Rajnil also. The ratio of people who speak English versus who don't speak English is quite, it's heavily skewed towards one side. But what happens when it comes to voice searches on ZEE5? Do you see it's more English heavy?
Yes and no. You see, the good part is that when you're searching for content, content, whatever it is written in, Kali could be written in Bengali, but it's called Kali.
Yeah.
Right. So it is just about being able to find that content. When it comes to actions like play Kali, it will still be play Kali. Right. So that simplifies it a little bit. But when it comes to extended searches in various voices, and if we had, for example, text to be searched on by voice, the challenges would be very different. But actually, we see that, and the way that we measure it is on terms of failed searches, and that keeps a close eye on. The failed searches on voice are fairly low, or not worrisome at this point of time, to lead us to believe that there are challenges in finding the content by just using the titles.
Okay, but when you say play Kali, what if I say Chalao Kali or Kali Chalao? What happens then? Will it talk about running the ink? The meaning changes. So how is it? How is the machine placed? Is it?
Yeah. Sure. So these are two different things. One is search. The second is intent. In search, it is simpler. When it comes to intent, which is about able to have an action that you want to take, that still has to go a long way as far as supporting regional languages is concerned.
Okay, that's great.
I'll just step in for 1 second there.
Sure,
what you're talking about, search and conversational. So when you're talking about conversational, that's where context matters. So even the AI will understand context, and hence when you're speaking in Hindi as well, and saying Kali Chalao, that's through a context which has already happened. So you've come to a particular app and then you are searching. So that's where the conversational AI takes over. And it's not just about like you're searching for something and the return is coming immediately. It's the context of the searches that is there, and that's where AI is very important. So not just language, but also AI combined with AI, where it kind of gives you the relevance of context. That's kind of just
Absolutely.
Okay, we have run out of time. One last question for all three of you. 3 years from now, if you're discussing a session on voice, what would you like to be the subject of discussion? Or what do you think, where will we be in 3 years' time? What would be the discussion? Rajnil, why don't you start?
What are we doing with voice on AR, VR?
Okay, Shams?
We are not looking at screens, but looking at virtual playgrounds for digital video.
Great point. Shams? 3 years from now?
3 years from now we'll be discussing something else, honestly, because voice would be so omnipresent that I don't think we will be discussing the future of voice, because honestly 3 years from now voice will be completely omnipresent and we'll be talking about the next big thing that we can talk about. Like, for example, I don't think anyone talks about video right now, right?
Correct.
Because it's so omnipresent right now that it's not going to happen. So voice is going to be omnipresent. What we might be talking about is the next, as I said, the next big thing in voice, which, as I said, if it's going to be an Uber of voice or anything like that, is going to be more about platforms which are really taking voice by storm. I think that if it's going to be that, it's going to be that.
Okay, that's great. Anurag, and to end with you, an omnipresent voice in 3 years' time, what will we be discussing then?
No, yeah, I would agree that we would be discussing new things, and we'll be also discussing the challenges which have now cropped up because we have reached this point. And for instance, one of the discussions which came up was that when you actually search for voice, and typically if you're searching, let's say, for a product, a brand, etc., you will only get one result against 5 results today, which some of our ads, some are organic results, let's say on Google. So if you're getting only one result or 2 results, if you are not in the top 2, what happens? And I think we're going to be discussing challenges like those.
Okay.
They're going to be different challenges to solve for.
Great. Thank you very much, Shams, Rajneel, and Anurag. It was lovely. I learned so much discussing this thing with you. I'm excited for voice. Let's see where it goes 3 years from now. Thank you very much. Thanks to our sponsors, ABP Ananda and Colors Marathi. And the Languages Week comes to an end today. Next month we'll have another session, another webinar on another subject. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Nice being to you, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thanks.